Welcome back to the channel. We're going to do a little end of the season recap. Well, it's more of the end of the regular season because as you can see here, still have to play our conference championship game, which is going to be crazy. Us versus Marshall, the only undefeated teams left in the country. 1 versus 5. It should be an absolute battle of a game. But, we'll just kind of recap the season a little bit. Check out our schedule for the year. And obviously, we'll keep tabs on the schools we like to look out for, which is, Bowling Green, obviously, UConn and Mitch-A-Palooza. So UConn had a pretty bad year. They went 1-11. Some tough losses to, their schedule was actually pretty good. No one was really too bad. Tulane wasn't great, but, their most winnable game was Duke, and they were able to win, beat a little SEC team there. So good for them. And then obviously Vanderbilt is the team that I'm definitely considering going to after I leave Bowling Green because they're, one of the 2 worst teams in the SEC. And so that would further establish my legacy as the greatest coach of all time. If I could not only win a national title at a third school, if I were to win at Bowling Green this year, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but to do it with the worst team in the SEC would be pretty great. And I believe their only win was against Kentucky. Yeah, the other worst team in the SEC. Oh, did I say Duke was an SEC team? Because I think I misspoke there because I'm pretty sure they're not. And then let's check out Mitch-A-Palooza. I don't know if Mitch-A-Palooza is going to be in a bowl game this year. I know they went 6-5, but they didn't play that 12th game. So it really is a toss-up on whether or not they get in. And they had some good wins, but down the stretch, they had these 4 games against Marshall, Ohio, Buffalo, and Kent. And they really needed to win 2 of them to secure a bowl spot. But really, the game that they should have won that they didn't was against Ohio. And it's a tough loss there. But I hope they get in a bowl game. I'm happy to see them do slightly better than they did last year. So we'll pop on over to our schedule for the year. As you can see, our combined opponents record, 74-78. Is that counting Marshall? Yeah, so a little actually kind of lopsided stat there. It should really just be 62-78. And, Toledo was really the only hard MAC game we had. They went 8-4, obviously, but Eastern Michigan was 5-7, Northern Illinois 4-8. Ball State and Western Michigan stunk. Central Michigan wasn't very good. Ohio was awful. And then Kent State was able to get a winning record, so good for them. A little bit of a better MAC challenge there, and they did play us okay. But it was really, Illinois, Ohio State, and Nebraska were the tough ones. And then, way back in week 1, we had that big win over UConn. Feels like so long ago that we played that game. And we obviously started the season right, 51-9. Top 25 polls. Obviously, we have almost all the first place votes. There's really no doubt in anyone's mind that we belong in that spot. And like I was saying, there's only 2 undefeated teams left, and it's us and Marshall. So one of them is going to break here. Points for, we ended with the 3rd most points scored in the country, and Marshall was 5th, so they're pretty good too. Points against, I know we did pretty good. Yep, 10th. Tied for 10th with Syracuse. But I believe, we played 1 more game than they did, so we really do have that 10th spot. So good on us. And then winless teams, Temple and Cal were unable to get wins this year. Least points scored goes to Ohio. And as you can see, Vanderbilt pretty far down there too. Only 3 points more. And then most points against was Cal. They really struggled. In only 11 games, they let up over 500 points. So we'll take a look at the MAC standings. So you can see the West this year, not too competitive. It was really just us and Toledo that had to play in the last week to decide it. And, we shellacked them, as you saw in the last video. But other than that, no one else was really contending. The East was definitely more competitive this year. Marshall, obviously, really good. Miami had a great year, going 6-2 in the conference. Buffalo was competitive. But then even going down further, Kent State and Mitch-A-Palooza, they were solid teams this year, and they were doing pretty well. And the only lackluster programs in the East this year were Ohio and UCF. Really struggled. Player stats. We look at weekly awards. I'm pretty sure we didn't get any in the NCAA. A bunch of MAC teams were getting guys, though. Yeah, we didn't. As you can see, there was a 3-week stretch where Marshall, Toledo, and then Kent State all had guys in the defensive NCAA Player of the Week. And then week 15, I know only like a couple, like 2 MAC games were played, but I'm sure Blake would have got it no matter how many teams played. He had a great week. And then we were able to get one in week 7. Stevenson got the Offensive Player of the Week. We never had a Defensive Player of the Week. And then Barry the week before that got it for the offense. And then technically in week 1, we were able to grab it, but that was only because we were the only MAC team to play that week, so it really doesn't count. And then Mitch-A-Palooza got one. They were able to get the Offensive Player of the Week, week 4. Jones is a new guy, though. He's not one of the guys I got in. And I don't believe UConn had the one week 3. Their running back number 35 got it. I don't believe they got another one. They had that one defensive I'll go back to. Yeah, then they had a Defensive Player of the Week, week 7. We'll look at the season awards. No one for our side is on the Heisman Trophy watch. Oklahoma's got these 2 guys obviously killing it. And then Marshall's defensive, front is led by this linebacker who's in contention for the Heisman, which is pretty crazy. We are up here, though. Barry coming in at number 5 on best QB. And obviously we're going to have a little advantage if we're able to play 2 more games. So you never know if they're going to be able to rise up. I believe these stay open into the playoffs, postseason. But I'm really not sure. Best running back, Stevenson, coming in at 5th. And if he would have been able to get more touchdowns, he definitely would have been higher on the list. But, really good year from him. And I believe that's all we're going to have besides coach. This award is going to come down to who wins next week. It's probably going to get the coach of the year. So hopefully it's us. And then we'll just kind of take a look at some of the stats. Barry obviously having a pretty solid year. Just under 2,000 yards. And like I said, this is just at the end of the regular season. 23 touchdowns to 4 picks. That ratio is insane. 55% completion, 73 long. You can see here his numbers are a lot better than they were last year. He's got 6 more touchdowns and 6 less picks. He's got more yards, more attempts, better completion percentage. So a really good way for him to finish out his 3-year starting career over here at Bowling Green. Then rushing, Stevenson, great year, true freshman. Barry was able to get some good, yards. Obviously Bubba coming in big with a lot of big runs. 8.8 yards he averaged. Ruiz was able to come in, get a lot of carries too. 8 touchdowns as well. Morris had a fine year. He had more yards, just as many touchdowns, a few less attempts, but McKinney was able to get a touchdown as well. And that's pretty much it for rushing. And then receiving, obviously the standout guy was Blake this year. Most yards, most catches, most touchdowns. Compared to last year, he really wasn't too involved in the offense, but he was able to step up in a big way this year and, contribute. 20 had a solid year. Slightly more catches, around the same yards, same touchdowns. So, again, another just good contribution. True freshman brand. Good year. Gay. His numbers slightly down on the catches, but around the same for the yards and just 1 less touchdown. So we'll see if he's able to, do some more. He's only a sophomore, so the kid's young. So he's still got 2 more good years with us. And then obviously I love him. Toby O'Donnell, our JUCO guy, comes in 9 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. And then, Sully was able to get a touchdown. Stevenson grabbed 2. Becker had a few catches. Walker had almost identical stats to last year. And then Morris was also able to get his first ever catch for a touchdown. The offensive line had a great season. Defense, Becker leading us in tackles. No surprise there. Churchy able to get 4 sacks. Same with Patrick. Patrick's a freshman too, the redshirt freshman. Church, this is his senior year. We're only graduating 9 seniors, I believe. Anderson had 3 picks. Do we have any defensive touchdowns this year? I believe we had the one against Nebraska. Yep, Wilkins. He had a fumble recovery for 37 yards. Forced by wind too. I remember that play pretty well. Mitchell, 15 for 15, 47 long. going 57 for 57 from extra points. Good year from him for sure. He's an absolute stud. Still got him for 2 more. Strausser, great job with the punts. And we were able to have 2 kick return touchdowns. Stevenson and O'Donnell each grabbed 1. As you see, O'Donnell's was 100 yards. So really good stats all the way through for this crew. And I'm real proud of the way they've been playing. So I believe that's all we got for stuff to kind of show you guys. Can't really think of anything. So, you know, probably just see you guys in the next video. I think that's it. I'm trying to remember if I have anything else I wanted to show you. But that should be it. Make sure that we're projected to play in the national championship. Yep. Looks like they want us to take on Utah as of now, but that's all dependent on how we play against Marshall. I don't even know what bowl game they have Marshall in right now. Probably the GMAC, or no, the Motor City. But like I said, that all depends on who wins. Whoever wins the MAC title game will probably punch their ticket to the national championship. I can't say for sure about Marshall, but obviously we will still be in there. But then we'll probably play in the Motor City Bowl. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next one when we play for the MAC title.